Alright, so we're going to have a safety meeting today. I'll have everybody sign in. Really the purpose of this is just to make sure that we're all using common sense and that you know your procedures if something were to happen on site, you know, on job. Going to pass around a little bit of information on the procedures. It's basically just what we want to do when it comes to, you know, using things like a ladder. So I really don't want anybody's feet more than 4 feet off of the ground without a second person present. You know, if you're hanging off of a gutter and get hurt, we need to make sure that happens. Plus, if you're more than 4 feet off of the ground, you have OSHA standards that you need to be tied off to. So because we really don't have a way to tie off to these buildings, it's impossible. That means that a second person needs to be present. Okay, so 3 points of contact on a ladder. That means 2 hands and a feet, 2 feet and a, you know, and a hand. The stomach doesn't count as a point of contact when you're on a ladder. I'm leaning against the ladder. That isn't exactly, you know, a point of contact. Obviously, closed-toed shoes and appropriate footwear for what you're doing. If you're, you know, wearing flip-flops and shoveling snow, obviously you're looking for problems, right?
Except me when it comes to appropriate footwear.
I did kind of look at you when I said appropriate footwear. Protective eyewear, glasses, goggles, something of that nature, sunglasses that are going to resist. Prescription eyeglasses are always impact resistant. It's just what they are. Inexpensive sunglasses, maybe not. So just look at them. Gloves, that sort of thing. It's really about common sense, being dressed for the elements.
Or for cutting locks.
I don't weed away without glasses anymore, trust me.
Yeah, and same thing when you're cutting locks.
You only got 2 eyes.
Yeah, I'll get them set up by that still.
I got glasses, 2 pairs of them in the truck.
So I'm saying for the cutter yet, I still gotta get you set up on.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
For cutting locks? Okay. So tools, I really want to make sure nobody's operating tools that they haven't been trained to use. So I wouldn't want Gabe out there trying to cut locks till you've trained him on the correct procedure, both for safety of the property, but also for safety of his person.
Yep.
You know, we don't want perfect. So during that initial training session of what you do, any questions, concerns, or whatever, you should understand what to do if you have questions, who to go to, who can answer those questions. So if you're doing the training and you don't know the answer, you're going to come to Jim. If Jim doesn't know the answer, we're going to engage a professional. But knowing that we're not guessing on how to, the right way to use things. Lifting, I'd like to put in a 70-pound weight limit with 1 person. Other than that, I think we should have 2 people probably to do lifting, and that's just to protect, you know, backs. Proper way to lift is always with the legs, not bending at the waist and picking up from the waist, using the hips and the leg muscles to do the lifting. And that is especially the case with snow shoveling. There is an ergonomic way to snow shovel, and if we need to get the right shovels to do it with the bend in the handles, speak up.
I think those help a lot.
They do help a lot, and getting that, you know, for a $20 shovel versus hurting your back, I'll spend 20 bucks out of my own pocket, as would Jim or any one of us, because a back injury isn't worth it.
Yeah,
So
I have one of those
they do say to have the, and honestly research the best and most ergonomic way to shovel is to get one hand as close down to the weight load as possible. So don't try to do them both up by the end of the handle.
Leverage
Use the leverage concept and get one hand close to the weight. Again, only lift what's comfortable. Try not throwing the snow, and bend with the legs and the hips. Don't lean at the waist. And that's also to maintain your balance as much as it is to protect the back for the actual lifting, and also helps the falling portion of it. Since we have had a fall this year, and then I was just walking, and we weren't even trying to carry snow.
Yeah.
So there's 2 left feet on Mr. Heck there. There are some things in general policies that we've probably not reviewed too terribly much, and I think we need to reiterate the importance of them, because they're things that put into place protection to the company and to you individually. If you've cut a lock and somebody claims an item missing and you didn't follow our protocol, we have no way to defend you as a company other than to say, well, he's a good guy, he didn't take anything. right?
Right.
So that is the reason that, we don't enter, and we have properties that we manage as well. We do not ever enter a house, an apartment, even if we think it's vacant. You knock and you announce yourself. Knock and announce property management. If nobody's supposed to be there, you could have a squatter there, and guess what? Squatters have legal rights.
It's
It is
crazy.
stupid.
It
But
is.
knock and announce yourself. And if somebody is there, you don't wanna catch somebody in the shower, that sort of thing.
Mhm.
All building entrances should be scheduled through the office, through Heather, because there's too many hands in the pot. We don't know what you're doing, you don't know what she's doing, we don't know, like, I let Jasmine move in a couple of days early, but Trish didn't know it,
I
and
didn't
so
know either. I
Trish
went
was,
there to put the fire alarm, and the smoke
Yep.
alarm in, and the door was locked, so I was like,
Exactly,
well,
yep.
obviously she's already here.
exactly.
Mhm.
And so then you schedule it all through Heather, and then I'll need to make sure that I do a better job of saying, oh yeah, by the way, tenant is in early. Cause she was
Mhm.
paying per diem, she's like, can I get
Right.
in over the weekend early? I'm like, sure, we'll take more money, no
Mhm.
reason not to, the work was done, otherwise, does the smoke alarm in?
No, it's not.
We
I
need
have
to,
it.
we need to schedule that with Heather,
Okay.
so just come on in and say, hey, I wanna get in there, and she'll notify her, you can go the next day.
Okay,
Legal notice is 12 hours. We cannot enter an apartment with less than 12 hours. So, and you have a set of master keys,
Yeah, in my truck.
So
I'll
we
go to
need
Bay
to-
Lock right after this and.
and we
get
just
their
need to
numbers.
make one set of your masters, and we have a key
Mhm.
box here that's locked. So if you need the key, you
I mean,
can
it's
come and
gonna
get
be
it.
30 seconds, even if she's
You-
home, she's more than welcome to let me in, I can
Yep,
just put it up
yep,
and then be
that's
gone.
perfectly fine too, but
Real
she's
quick.
kinda hard to get in, like hard to schedule.
Okay,
So, yeah, we'll need a copy of those keys then. Upon entering the building, if the door was locked when you walked in, it's locked when you walk out. If it was unlocked when you walk in, leave it unlocked when you walk out. Now, because you could be locking them out. If they ran down to the dumpster and you locked the door
Yeah,
behind
yeah.
you, now they're like, I didn't lock this door, right? Then we get phone calls, and I have to go and lock them. I don't like
it's
doing
different on
that.
the climate control though, I found them unlocked a few times,
That's
those I lock when
different.
I leave. 'Cause
Yeah.
some people leave them unlocked when they go in and out.
Yeah, the units, yeah, I think generally if I find a unit unlocked, I'll throw a red lock on it.
That's different on the units.
Mhm.
On the
Different
units,
on
I
the
agree,
apartments.
but this
Yeah.
is the apartments.
Okay,
So on a unit, I would agree, we should probably lock them and then notify the tenant.
Yeah.
So if you lock them, make sure you let us know though, so we can call that tenant. They could be, no, I purposely unlocked it, my son's
Right.
coming in the morning, okay, good, we'll get that lock back off.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
So then when we are, especially the apartments, when we are entering, you walk in, you go directly to the item that you're doing and you walk directly out. You don't pass go, you don't look in an underwear drawer, you do nothing else. And it's just part
Should
of,
this be something else that's
A little
still code?
entering an apartment.
Yeah,
Not necessarily, because I don't think that an occupied apartment, anybody else will be in very much. That'll really happen more on the property management side and maintenance team. But this is a good
I
example
was
of
just
when it may
wondering, like for
happen.
the case of, like again, if
Yeah.
someone claimed items missing.
I mean, you could, but, I don't expect that you guys will be entering occupied apartments very often, do you?
No.
So I
No.
don't think it's
as
more.
least as possible.
Yeah, as little as possible. I would think that, and because it's scheduled with Heather, we're gonna know when you were there, how long you were inside. I was in there
Mhm.
for 5 minutes, or I was this, or I was that.
I mean, it's
you know.
best if the homeowner can be there, I mean, that's
Perfect.
100%
Yeah.
better than
You
not
got it.
going there on your own.
Exactly.
Yep.
And that's usually our go-to. It's a little different with college students, cause they're nocturnal and they're never awake or home if it isn't dark out, so. As far as completion of tasks, usually we leave a notice that we've been there and what we've done while we were there. We have door hangers. So that's why I'd like it to kind of go through us as all possible, because then we'll make sure the door hanger is complete and the notification can be done. If we notice damages when we're there, we'll write a damage report, leave it on the counter so that they know, hey, you damaged the apartment, and it's a record of how things happen as we're monitoring things throughout the year. So,
I think we should video, before people move into
we
apartments.
already have,
Okay.
we've already started that.
A little more detailed than the,
Yep.
especially move outs too, a
Yep.
little more detail, and the video will show everything.
Yep.
Yep.
Exactly.
Very hard to
So we
argue.
already have video of Jasmine's apartment, and that's already started.
Okay.
And so, storage locks, so getting to that, and this is really the majority of it, but with the storage locks, they should be cut either with the GoPro, if you're cutting it alone, or in the presence of 2 employees. So preferably both.
Both, and
But
then-
if it's sometimes it's not feasible to have two people standing there, but that's what the GoPro is for. And then after the work is completed, that unit should be turned over to the tenant, so if the tenant is there waiting for you to cut it, you're gonna hand them.
Yeah.
Obviously, if the tenant's there, you don't have to GoPro it,
Yeah,
right?
cause they're there.
But you're in the presence of two people,
Still
right?
wouldn't hurt.
It doesn't hurt. But if you're cutting this lock and the tenant is not present, when we're finished with what we're doing, the door gets closed and you tag it. Because otherwise now it's only our lock and we've created what's called a bailment. And a bailment is a legal condition where your possessions are now your belongings are in my possession. And I'm now legally responsible for them. Well, I don't wanna be legally responsible for your stuff because it's not my stuff. I just need to inventory it for a lien sale. And so I'm gonna lien sale it on the GoPro, I'm gonna show that I'm tagging it, and then as far as court's concerned, it got red locked and tagged. We've had no more access to it.
You see
Then,
the tags or the number,
Right,
little red,
yep,
that
yep,
are hard to cut off.
exactly. And then those tags remain in place until the unit is, those can be
Not-
twisted off?
No.
Those ones are like next
Remember
to
those
possible
things
to
that
come
your
off.
son was trying to cut, they're kind of hard.
They're
Yeah.
really
The
hard to
wire
come off.
tags that they,
Yeah.
once you put them on, you have to cut them off.
Yeah, they're a
I
cutoff.
just
There's
use
an
I
easily
just
breakable
use the,
kind and a not easily breakable kind, and I bought
They
the
got
non-easily
real
breakable
good,
kind.
hand cutters that you can use,
Yeah,
that
I just use
electricians
my
have.
phone
Yeah.
It cuts them better than the bolt cutters, it's kinda too small of a wire for the bolt cutters.
Or just use your cutter, use it right there.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, well, I can just start with that.
And then maintenance on the unit, the intention is that the maintenance is gonna happen before the unit is even available to a tenant, so that we're not having to access a storage unit to do maintenance that's already occupied. First of all, it's hard to work around people's stuff, but secondly, then we run into the whole, well, can you come in and now I can't meet you, and now we gotta cut your lock, and now we create a bailment, and it's just better. If we don't have to, there are times, like when we had the ice damming, we had to cut locks, we had to see what's going on in units. That's the exception, not a rule. So in general practice, we don't wanna create those situations. It's legally a bad position for us to be put in. So, okay, that's my story. Any questions? It's really just about the updates on procedure and then safety items. Your physical personal safety is always our number one concern, because honestly, employees are the biggest asset a company has. Next to the actual physical real estate, it's about how it's run and the customer service we provide. So keeping everybody safe is our number one goal.